Lagavulin 16-year-old. It's the gold standard of peated Islay whiskey. It's rich, complex, with that incredible maritime character and peat that whiskey lovers absolutely crave.
It's everything you want in a classic Islay single malt. Deep, satisfying and utterly distinctive, but if you haven't noticed, it's gotten more expensive lately.
Just 5 years ago, you could probably find the Lagavulin 16 for around £55 to £60, and now we're seeing it push up to about £100 a bottle. That's why we've pulled together this list of 5 alternatives that still give you that smoky magic, but without the £100 price tag.
These are exceptional peated whiskies that deliver a similar smoky maritime character closer to the Lagavulin's 2019 price point. Now, before we dive in, let's be clear, we absolutely love the Lagavulin 16-year-old. It's a classic for a reason, and it's actually Josh behind the camera's favourite whiskey.
But the reality is, whiskey prices have climbed significantly in recent years. What used to be a lot more affordable is now a serious investment for many whiskey lovers.
So today we're sharing 5 outstanding peated whiskies that capture the essence of what makes Lagavulin so special, and that maritime smoke, the complexity and the satisfying depth, but at a more accessible price.
Coming up, we'll explore 5 smoky whiskey alternatives from across Scotland's whiskey regions, why each one delivers exceptional value for peat lovers, how these whiskies compare to Lagavulin's signature style, plus some bonus recommendations for the truly adventurous.
Whether you're building your first peated whiskey collection or looking to expand and get more than one whiskey with your budget, these bottles prove that great smoky whiskey is still accessible to everybody.
First up, we've got the Talisker 10-year-old. Now, whilst it's not from Islay, Talisker brings a smoky coastal profile that can definitely scratch that same Lagavulin itch. It's also part of the Diageo portfolio, just like Lagavulin, but the style is distinctively its own.
Where Lagavulin leans into earthy, meaty peat with some medicinal undertones, Talisker offers maritime smoke with a bold hit of black pepper spice and briny sea spray.
The distillery itself sits right on the rugged Skye coast, and you can really taste that salty Atlantic influence. It's not a copy of Lagavulin, but if you do love smoky coastal whiskies with serious character, this one definitely delivers in spades.
What makes this such a great alternative is the price point. At around £45 to £55, we're getting that complex maritime character for nearly half of the cost of a Lagavulin.
Think of it as a more fiery, peppery sibling from a different island, familiar enough to satisfy peat lovers, but unique enough to stand out on its own. Now, next up will be a surprise to some. This is Benromic Peat Smoke from Speyside.
Now, Speyside is famous for elegant fruity whiskies, not their smoky ones, but Benromic breaks all the rules by creating one of Scotland's most interesting peated expressions outside of Islay.
Now, what makes this whiskey very special is how it bridges the gap between the Highland refinement and the intensity of Islay whiskies. At around 67 ppm phenol levels, it delivers serious smoke, but wraps it up in that Speyside elegance.
The first full ex-bourbon maturation gives it this beautiful clean backbone of vanilla and fresh fruit that perfectly balances the peat smoke. You get that smoky character you're craving with Lagavulin, but with a completely different personality.
At around £48 to £50, this is really exceptional value for such a unique whiskey. You're getting the best of both worlds here. You've got some serious peat character, but with a finesse that only Speyside can deliver.
It's proof that great peated whiskey isn't limited to the islands. This is perfect for Lagavulin lovers who want to explore how different regions interpret smoke and peat. Now, for our third pick, we're heading to Islay for what many consider Lagavulin's closest cousin, and it's the Cailleach 12-year-old.
This is a whiskey that comes up most often, I guess, when people ask for something similar to Lagavulin. They're both from Islay, they both have that maritime character, and both deliver some serious smoke.
What makes Cailleach different is its lighter, more refreshing approach. Where Lagavulin is brooding and earthy, Cailleach brings citrus notes and a cleaner smoke profile.
Now, it's got that classic Islay DNA. It's got the sea air and the peat smoke, but it's presented in a more elegant, refined way.
The distillery overlooks the sound of Islay, and that coastal influence really comes through. You get brine, seaweed and maritime peat with a brightness that makes it incredibly drinkable.
At between £50 to £60, it's still significantly cheaper than the Lagavulin, while still delivering that authentic Islay character. And if you do love the island style, but want something a little bit more approachable, this is absolutely perfect. Our fourth alternative this time takes us to the Isle of Mull for the Lechig 10-year-old from the Tobermory distillery.
This is a whiskey that really divides opinion, and we mean that in the best possible way. Lechek is funky, earthy, and absolutely uncompromising in its character.
What we love about this whiskey is its dirty barbecue style of peat. It's not as refined as Lagavulin, that's for sure, but it has got like this real wonderful earthy kind of character that's absolutely captivating.
The maritime influence is strong here too. You get that coastal peat smoke, but it's combined with spice and this distinctive funkiness that makes every sip an adventure.
It's bold, it's characterful, and it's definitely not for everyone, but if you're someone who does love the intensity of Lagavulin, this might just become your new obsession.
At around £45 to £55, it offers exceptional value for such a unique and characterful whiskey. It's proof that a great peated whiskey comes in many different styles. And finally, we're closing our list with another Islay legend, and it's the Ardbeg Wee Beastie.
At just 5 years old, this might seem like an unusual choice compared to Lagavulin's 16 years of maturation, but don't let the age fool you. Like we said, this whiskey punches well above its weight.
Now, the Ardbeg Wee Beastie is all about intensity and raw power. It's got aggressive smoke, maritime character, and a surprising complexity for such a young whiskey.
It's extremely well balanced despite its youth. You get that classic Ardbeg smoke bomb character, but it's not harsh and it's not overwhelming. It's just incredibly vibrant and energetic.
The coastal influence is unmistakable. You get sea spray, brine, and that wonderful tarry smoke that Islay is famous for. It's like experiencing the essence of Islay in concentrated form.
At between £35 to £40, it represents outstanding value for a genuine Islay single malt from one of the island's most respected distilleries. It's proof, as we said before, that age isn't everything. Sometimes that youthful vigour is exactly what you need.
Now, before we wrap up, we want to quickly mention a few other excellent alternatives that are worth considering.
First, there's the Smokehead Islay Single Malt. It's a mystery Islay bottling that's rumoured to come from one of the big distilleries, possibly even Lagavulin itself. At around £30 to £40, it's bold, young, and full of punchy smoke.
Port Charlotte 10 from Bruichladdich is a bit pricier at £60 to £70, but if you can stretch the budget, it offers incredible depth and complexity that's closer to Lagavulin style than some of our main picks.
And finally, there's a Kilchoman Machier Bay, which represents a new generation of Islay distilling. It's farm-to-bottle production with wonderful peaty, briny character and just a real touch of fruit at the end. At between £50 to £60, it's modern Islay at its finest. So there you have it. That's 5 exceptional alternatives to the Lagavulin 16 that prove you don't need to spend £100 to enjoy world-class peated whiskey.
Each of these bottles brings something unique to the table, whether it's Talisker's peppery spice, Benromich's Speyside elegance, Kalila's refined smoke, Lechek's funky character, or Ardbeg's youthful intensity.
The beauty of exploring these alternatives isn't just about saving money. It's about discovering the incredible diversity within the world of peated whiskey. Each region, each distillery, it brings its own interpretation of smoke and maritime character.
Now, if you're inspired to start building a collection of peated whiskies, you'll want to know how to store them properly to maintain their quality.
Which is exactly why we created our complete guide to storing your whiskey collection right here. From temperature control to protecting those precious labels, we cover absolutely everything you need to know to keep your bottles in perfect condition.